Hello, everybody. It is great to be here today. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the CEO, President, and co-founder of GSD Venture Studios. We're a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley, Palo Alto, 5 minutes from Stanford University. I've been involved in 17 startups, as I said, and 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion. Yes, B for the billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world and opportunities are not, and we're here to make a difference and to change that. I'm the CEO, president of GSD Venture Studios. We are a premier AI and quantum venture studio located, again, in the heart of Silicon Valley. And with that, I'd like to bring my incredible guest, Tomas Cironis. He's a director of the Startup World Cup and Summit, investor at Air Ventures. I mean, this guy is connected in Eastern Europe like nobody I've ever seen in my life, and a good person at that. He's an investment analyst at Air Ventures, Startup World Cup and Summit director, has been working in late stage and startups, Series A. Also worked at the European Leadership and Academic Institute in Prague. So with that, I'd like to bring him on board. Hey, Thomas, how are you doing today?
Hello, Gary. Good morning or good evening, depends where you are located. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're amazing. I got to tell you, the event that you put on, that Startup World Cup with Pegasus, is just incredible. I mean, seriously, it was just, I've had people from all over the planet Earth that have gotten back to me and saying that I don't know how many total views you had, but there was a lot because I have from all parts. I'm waiting for one from Antarctica, actually. That's probably the only place I haven't heard from somebody, but it's been incredible. You did a great job with it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor to hear it from you.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. I mean, why is there so much activity in Eastern Europe, particularly in Prague? What is going on? There's just a lot of things happening.
Yeah, you're right. Central and Eastern Europe, it's quite an interesting region right now. The ecosystem is heating up, and there are several unicorns coming up in Poland. In Czech Republic, we have 2 or 3 right now, and it's really interesting location to be right now.
You're right about it, Thomas. One of the things we see all over the world, and as you know, I lived in Moscow for a few years, for over 10 years, and I saw the ecosystem. I've seen it develop over that period of time, and it's incredible. But I mean, part of it's getting the visibility on a global basis, right? Getting out there so people see who you are, because if you get an investment in Silicon Valley and you get somebody like Tim Draper to invest in your company, all of a sudden, not only do your valuation goes up, but you got a whole lot of people interested in coming on board with you, because it's like all of a sudden they know you're going to be a unicorn. So how is it in Prague? I mean, do you have the same kind of mentality? I mean, once you see somebody that's noteworthy come in, does everybody start herding in and trying to get involved, or how does it work?
Yeah, that's our goal, actually, not only with the Startup World Cup Summit, but with the venture capital funds behind it. We aim to, educate the soon-to-be founders or the founders of early-stage companies, and also to connect the ecosystem here in Central Europe together. And I really think it's improving, and or if Startup World Cup Summit can help to this with the visibility, media attention, and so on, it's a great thing, and we are happy.
No, well, you certainly have our attention, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing the amount of companies that come out of there that are incredible. So what are the three, if you look at Central and Eastern Europe, the 3 countries you say, these are the top 3 countries producing the unicorns today? In your opinion, top 3 producing them today, and who do you see coming up next?
That's a really good question. Top 3 countries, I would go with Poland, Estonia, and Czech Republic. And the upcoming rising stars, I would pay attention to Slovakia and maybe, Latvia. Yeah, Latvia would be great target.
Now, I mean, Latvia has been really progressive for a long time, right? I mean, I was down there. I lived in Yermala for the
Mhm.
summertime and got a chance. I actually met the president and prime minister down there. And
Awesome.
I mean, they seem to be really focused on, you know, bringing Latvia up. I mean, they talked about Estonia a lot. It's like the showcase for how
Yeah,
to do it.
exactly.
So, but also you have the kind of spirit, drive, and determination, and Latvia could also pull it off too.
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of friends with startup wise guys who are based in Estonia, and they got a really good overview of the Baltics region. And yeah, they say this. They said the same thing as you did right now.
That's amazing. So, tell me a little bit. How did you get involved in all these startups? I mean, you went to university, a technical university in Prague, and but how did you get involved? I mean, was it one day you woke up and said, "Oh, all of a sudden, I'm going to go to get in the ring, and I'm going to move into startups," or how did it start?
Um, it's a good question. I think it went naturally. I studied social law, and I was working in several NGOs, and I woke up one day and decided I'm gonna try it for profit, work for profit, and then I show up in some startups. And from there, it was kind of short distance to get to venture capital funds. I don't think I'm entrepreneur myself, or not right now, but I really like helping the others to succeed, to improve, and to connect. So I think the venture capital and this kind of environment is the perfect fit for me.
No, that's great. And what do you see in terms of what types of startups are you seeing today, Thomas, that are really interesting for you? What are they? Are they AI, the machine learning AI? Are they quantum? Are they
Yeah, it
fintech or a
depends on.
combination?
Yeah, it depends on the country or the region in Europe. Like right now in Czech Republic, we are quite famous with cybersecurity, AI, nanofiber, fintech right now. Um, I think it's getting similar in Slovakia, which is the country right next to us and our former brothers. And same it's with Poland, like blockchain and cryptocurrencies, they are exploding in Poland right now.
Yeah, no, they are. And what do you think over the next year? What's going to be? So if we look at 2022, what are you looking at? What kind of startups do you think are going to be the ones where you say, listen, these are um, the ones that we're going to invest in? Is it blockchain? Is it crypto? Are they AI, machine learning? What are they? Blockchain,
Yeah,
crypto, or what do you
yeah,
think?
kind of everything you mentioned. I think everything you mentioned. There are two or three quite famous already here in Czech Republic, like Rosum or DeepNote or Datado. And I think in few years we're gonna hear from them in a really big way.
No, that's great. And how do you find the startups? What's the best way for you to find the startups? Do they come to you or do you come to them?
Um, Another great question. That's when the Startup World Cup Summit comes in. We decided to host this event, this summit, together with international conference and some educational part. But the most important thing happening at the summit is the startup competition, and there are 400, 500 applications, startup applications every year, and there are 11, 12, maybe 13 finalists that we select, and they get the chance to go to the main stage and pitch in front of the investors and medias and all the participants. But also we look into the others that didn't get to the finals but are still really interesting. And then it depends what kind of verticals and fields you as a venture capital fund are you interested in, because it doesn't matter if you are 15th or 30th, you still can be very interesting for us. So yeah, that's how we fill up our pipeline.
No, that's incredible. And tell us about some of the success stories that come out because you've been doing this for a few years. Do you have any, you said, well, this is one that came through and is now a unicorn, or these are a couple of companies that we believe will become unicorns. Tell us,
Yeah.
give us an example of a couple of those.
It would be great if you ask this question in, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, because at that time I believe there's gonna be unicorns. So far, I think one of the best success stories are guys from Shipwheel. It's a logistics startup that's improving the travel costs of logistic companies. I think they are winners of 2017 Startup Cup Summit.
Mm-hmm.
And also guys from Highside. They are from Luxembourg, and it's a top cybersecurity startup, one of the best here in Europe. They got offices in Silicon Valley as well right now. So I think, yeah, those two are the best success stories we had so far. We have had.
No, we just talked to a company called Sky Maps, and I'm really excited about Sky Maps. I don't know if you know who Sky Maps are, but they're very, very exciting company.
Yeah, and they are from Europe, Central Europe.
Yeah, they're from Prague, actually, I believe.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
there's companies out there that are really are unbelievable. I mean, they have $1 million, $2 million, $3 million worth of ARR and growing. So you can see the seeds are planted to be able to create those unicorns. So and that's where we are, right? We're in the venture building.
Exactly. Yeah.
We take that raw clay and turn it into something very exciting and interesting, using Silicon Valley as a port, because it's just the incredible talent. And how does the system? Why are there so many in that region? Because because of the mathematics and technical expertise. I mean, there's got to be a reason why those people are coming out and they're so entrepreneurial.
That's another really good question. I believe it's because two things. We as a Czech Republic, we have really good technical universities that um, every year they send out um, students or graduates that are far better than the competition from other countries. So that's the A. And B, our first kind of unicorn is a company called Avast. It was founded, I think, in late 80s or early 90s. And it's kind of cybersecurity antivirus. And it was one of the best success stories we had. And I think that's the leadership vision, or that's something you want to follow, you're going to look up. And yeah, those are the two reasons why we have so good technical guys right now.
Okay, so I got that, but how do you get 500 PowerPoint presentations? Why do so many people from so many different places apply?
We focus on really early stage. It means like you found a startup, and after 2 or 3 months of your existence, you can apply to the Startup World Cup Summit. The benefit of this is that we have several hundreds of these applications, but those startups are really in the beginning of their life cycle. It's really the earliest stage you can imagine, and the death rate is quite big. It's said that 8 or 9 of 10 startups are gonna die here. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, the one thing, Thomas, from our perspective, I've done
Mhm.
this with thousands of companies. I believe that doesn't have to be the case, but here's the problem. And tell me
Yeah.
what you think. What I see is there's a lot of bullshit out there, right? And by this, let me tell you exactly. So when I got started with my first company, there was nobody to tell me how to do a startup. My
Mhm.
father was a professor. My mother's a housewife. I asked my dad, he taught English. He said,
Mhm.
son, just get a job. You've got your master's degree, get a job. And I said, but I want to do something a little different, Dad. And I remember asking him questions like, how do you get money to do a company?
Mhm.
Well, my father says, I don't know. I've never had a car loan. I don't know. I'm not sure. But here, talk to the bankers. The bankers have money. And I went down. I remember speaking to the bankers, and I cut my first deal. It was an equity or a loan. And they wanted to do equity later on. But I said, why would I give you part of my company? I can get this loan from anybody. I don't have to go to you. Why would I give you part of my company? You're not doing anything special for me, right? It's like, what's a big deal? It's
Yeah,
mine. I'm the one taking the risk, and you're getting part of the deal. Forget
yeah,
about it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
And what? But I learned the lessons, and I think part of the reason that they fail is they don't have the guidance, and they don't. Here's the deal, Thomas. Listen, so Bill Gates is a great success story, right? And Bill, if you're listening to me, by the way, he's my neighbor here, about 4 blocks away. And,
Awesome.
when he comes down to Florida, but I mean, his father had $1 billion law firm.
Uh-huh.
The company K&L Gates ended up being $1 billion law firm, and his father was one of the founders of K&L Gates. Right? Of course, he left later, and he's passed away, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. But I mean, they didn't come from not having money, and his mother, from what I've read, had done the introduction to the IBM executives, right? That paved the way. And oh, by the way, went to Harvard. And the same thing with Zuckerberg. So the one thing is the connections in the network are critically important. I believe that with guidance that we can take it down from 9 out of 10 failing, to 5 out of 10 succeeding or more, right? Because a lot of the companies have the right stuff. Maybe they're not the right CEO. Maybe the product needs to be pivoted. But if you have that open mind, my point is, if you have that open mind and you pivot your products, you go down through and do your customer development, the basic rules, it works. If you
Yeah.
can, and if it doesn't, you can pivot it to something that does work if you're smart enough.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The open mind, it's a really good reason. I think it's part of our history, kind of history, because till 1989, we were part of the communist Eastern Europe, kind of, let's say, and since then there is this new
Well, it was
generation
tough
of
back in
entrepreneurs.
'89 because you still had the Russian influence at the time, the Soviet influence coming down.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, big time, and it changed a bit as the wall came down in October 1991 there, and things became a little bit more open. And of course, Czech was, not was just a satellite, right, if you will. But I mean, in '89 it wasn't easy, Thomas. I got to tell you, in '89 it was not. I was in Russia in 1991. It was not
Hmm.
easy, believe me. This is a whole different Wild West kind of mentality. At least it was there, right? And I'm sure in the Czech Republic it was the same way, a little bit wild back in the late
Yeah,
80s.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, after the revolution, and right now there is this new generation of entrepreneurs raising up, coming up, and they are not influenced by this. I don't know how to call it. How this Eastern way of thinking. They are much more influenced by the Western way of thinking. They are not afraid to found a startup and fail, because many years back, when you were a failed founder, you were damaged goods,
You were blacklisted.
blacklisted. Yeah, you were
Yeah.
damaged goods. But nowadays, this has changed, and I see this as one of the many things that are improving. And I believe in the next upcoming years, we're gonna be much better in this.
No, I agree with you 100%. And as everything starts to open up, as the world has changed with this digital transformation, think about this, Thomas. There's 1.3 billion people in Africa in
Hmm.
38 countries. There's 647 million people in Latin America, 1.1 billion people in India,
Yeah,
over 1.1 billion people in China. The world is opening up and the opportunities are democratized. At the same time, it's interesting because we just came back from Africa, and the intellectual capacity in places like Nigeria is just amazing.
yes,
First, they're entrepreneurial. So they were like born entrepreneurial. And second, the situation is it's been nurtured. Third, they really like things like fintech and AI, and they don't have the legacy infrastructure. So for the companies that are in the Czech, from the Czech Republic, from Eastern Europe, from the US, go to places other people aren't. This is like simple. There was a company called Sun Microsystems. I don't know if you remember that company. Sun was bought by Oracle. This is many years ago. They were the leader of
hmm,
workstations.
okay,
And a guy from one of the guys from Stanford, Scott McNeely, told me one time, a long time ago, and recently too. I think they sold for $4 billion to Oracle, somewhere
hmm,
around 4 billion. But he said to me, always go to areas you fear the most because that's where you're going to learn and make the most amount of money because other people won't want to do it. Go there. He said, you've got to be able to handle the fear. And he said, use it to your advantage. And I never forget that. I remember 2.5, 3, right before the pandemic, I had lunch with him. And he said the same thing to me. And I was like, this is like spot on because
Yeah.
what it's all about. When I went to Russia, by the way, people said, oh, you're going to Russia. You know, you're not going to live, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I mean, people were very nice. And I used to come to places like Prague, right? And Warsaw
Yeah.
and visit. But that's where the opportunities are. And you got to mine them. So you got these companies in Prague. You've got Latvia coming up. What about Estonia? Because I'm not hearing that much about Estonia anymore. What's going on there? Do you know?
That's a really good question. Again, everything I know, I already said. We got these startup-wise guys who are the leader, I think, of venture capital field there in Estonia. Their advantage, or one of the biggest advantage from my point of view, is the e-government, because it's kind of much easier when you can do many things online, especially when founding a company. Here in Czech Republic, it's still quite a painful and a long process to found a company, and it takes several days just to found a company and set up a bank account. So yeah, I think this is their biggest advantage.
No, that's interesting. But, I'm sure it'll change because you're so progressive there right now.
I hope so.
Yeah. You know, and then that's the other thing. Just Thomas, the one thing I used to hear in Russia a lot, in Ukraine, Belarus, is they said "ya nyani dayus," I hope, and all this stuff, and we don't use that in Silicon Valley. We never say hope. I don't know if you know that. It's not like we don't say it because you're either going to do it or not. We talk about getting shit done. We talk about moving forward in life. We talk about accomplishing the goal because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody's going to believe in you. You know what I mean? This isn't like being hopeful. It's just like you either believe you're going to get shit done or not, right? It is a binary decision. So one of the things we try to tell the entrepreneurs we're working with is that believe in yourself. Listen, I'm not going to take money out of my pocket and put in your company. If you don't believe in yourself, how could I do it? Maybe somebody else should be running a company. We can talk about that. But if you want my money, or you want my friend's money, or you want these VCs' money, like yourself, you got to make sure you believe in the dream. Because if you can enchant me, as my friend Guy Kawasaki says, and excite me and enrapture me, I'm not going to do it. I want to be excited. I want to be like feel electricity in my body. When I talk to you about this stuff, go, oh my God, this feels so cool. I love it. Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys should do that. I got to tell you, exemplified. I was gracious, and I really appreciate it having the chance to be a keynote speaker. And by the way, if you need me again, let me know. I loved it. You really, that event was full of electricity. And the darkest times with COVID and everything else, you gave people the light, the hope, the idea that could be done, and it really resonated with the startup. So I want to, give you a round of applause here because you did a really good job with it.
Thank you. It's really honored to hear it from you because your CV is tremendous. It's really awesome. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and we want to work with you and startups from all over the planet. Thomas has done an incredible job of showing the light of how things need to be done. There are opportunities for each and every one of you from all over the world to realize your dreams if you believe. Look yourself in the mirror and say, do I really want to do it or not? Don't just focus on one geographic area. Of course, it's good to get started, but look at the world, because when you bring investors in that want to create $1 billion company, they want to make sure that you have a global vision, that you have a global look, that you believe in your dreams. And that's how it's done. The secret sauce is you need the networking connections because it's a very close club of people that get together. So if Thomas sends me a deal and says, hey, Gary, take a look at the company, I'm going to look at it, and vice versa, because you know that we vetted them out and you know where those companies are located, who their teams are they good or not, and are they companies that you really want to invest in and curate and take to $1 billion status. It's not just everybody can do it. It's a matter of molding it like clay, molding the company so it's ready to go. And if you do that right, my God, the world is truly your oyster.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with this. It's really important to think globally from the very beginning, and I think it's especially the case here in Europe because it's a small continent with a lot of countries that have different languages, different law, and so on. So when you focus just on your country, your own small country like Czech Republic, you're not gonna make a big success. It's really necessary to think globally from the very beginning.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And the good news is because of the events like you've had, the Startup World Cup, the outreach that we do at GSD through
Yeah,
our labs and through our venture studio, we're curating those companies. We want to do them. We want them to come in. We want to help them. We want them to become realize their full potential, and it's possible if you believe it. It's really it manifests itself. There's a soft side, by the way. And I remember I took a course at Stanford University, and when the
hmm
course was a combination of acting and public speaking, and it was for executives. I'll never forget getting thrown into this thing. And the coach said to me, she's an acting coach. She said, part of going out and doing it is people want you to be able to enrapture them, enchant them. And so part of that, the other thing is you got to have the knowledge to back it up. So
yeah,
enchant them with something. And if you do that, you're going to change the world. I'll never forget it. We had this class, it was one semester long, and it was incredible because it was everybody in there had a belief that they could get stuff done. Doesn't matter where they're from. They could be from India, they could be from Russia or the Czech Republic or wherever, the UK, but they believed they could get it done. It was amazing to see the transformation that
yeah.
took place. Listen, we're coming up to the end of the show. You're an incredible guy. You've done incredible things. We're really excited about it. I got to tell you, he's very humble, but Thomas is a real leader in Eastern Europe of bringing things out and a good person beyond that. So, your closing thoughts and how do people get a hold of you, Thomas?
My closing thoughts are that you should write a book because your life it's a great life story. I read some of your articles, but I think you should put your life in a book. That's the first thing. Second thing, a really great name of your venture studio, GSD. I really like it. And
You know,
uh,
we did it. We were goofing around and we said Gary and Derek.
uh-huh.
And I said, Gary and Derek, we just need one more letter. What about S? And I said, well, it's all about getting shit done anyhow. Why don't we just both get shit done?
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke. But in Mark Zuckerberg's office behind his desk, right, it says get shit done. That's his motto too. I said, that's what it's all about. It's about
Yeah.
execution.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a really cool punchline. I
Yeah,
really like
thank
it.
you.
Kudos. Yeah. And we're gonna host another Startup World Cup Summit in October 2022. We got a website. It's swcsummit.com. So if you got any ideas for awesome keynote speakers like you, please feel free to send us some suggestions, and we are looking forward.
Well, Thomas, you can count me in. Put me on the list because you're amazing. And I just incredible. And I love being in front. And this year it'd be great to be there in person and to do it on stage. So you just count me in. Put me on the list now because I'm ready to do it. You guys are
Happy to.
amazing.
Thank you. It's a really honor to hear it from you, Gary. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, it's the truth. You're a very humble person. So to my audience out there, as I said, my name's Gary Fowler, and this is GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. Stay tuned for another edition of GSD Presents next Tuesday, same time. And we change the world by bringing technology, ideas, and capital to you. So believe, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. And to those folks that are going to be celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas. And to all of my other friends, have a happy holidays and a happy new year. Anyhow, talk to you soon. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks, everybody. And stay tuned. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.